Yeah, but Dave Peppers.
All right, we're filming.
Oh.
Shall I do the intro?
Oh, I don't think I should be in it. I think it's for the students.
I'm going to do the introduction. So we're at Island House, a place riddled with Canterbury University intellectuals, professor, lab managers, all the lot. And we're going to talk with a marine biology group and a professor of the, did you just say the origins of life?
Something like that.
Yeah, and a professor?
Senior lecturer.
Senior lecturer in?
Lovely. Wow.
In evolutionary biology.
Cool. We've also got some other people. State what do you do?
Technician, biology.
And yourself?
Field technician.
I just sat down at your table.
Tar form. We brought a mouldy guy to represent New Zealand people. What do you do?
I'm Ewan from the School of Product Design.
Excellent. And yourself, Rev?
I'm a postdoc.
Cool. Right. We're here to talk about the origins of life, but specifically in oceanic sense, and that's why we have my friend here. And we're going to talk about gender fluidity. So, you're up. You're next, if you don't mind. You're up. What's gender like in the ocean?
Well, we generally don't use the word gender when we're talking about animals, because gender is a construct that humans have come up with. So we tend to talk about biological sex, which there's lots of different ways to define sex, but the one that we typically use in evolutionary biology is which type of gametes are produced. So whether
sorry, you'll have to explain gametes to the wider audience.
So that's whether
that's a sexual.
That's the cells.
Mid-step.
Yeah. So those are the cells like eggs or sperm that are produced for the purposes of reproduction. And so it doesn't necessarily relate to what type of chromosomes individuals have, and the fish that I work on actually don't have sex chromosomes. So
seriously?
Yep, don't have sex chromosomes.
They don't have XY chromosomes?
Don't have XY chromosomes.
And just quickly, do you believe that all life originated in the ocean before it came to the land?
The evidence is pretty strong that that is likely the case.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the way that we typically define sex in the evolutionary context is which individuals are producing, or whether individuals are producing smaller gametes like sperm versus larger gametes like eggs. And of course there are some individuals that produce both types of gametes. There are hermaphrodites throughout not just the ocean, but
do you mind
everywhere.
defining a hermaphrodite?
A hermaphrodite is an individual, a single individual that will produce both sperm and eggs throughout its life cycle. And there are two different types. There's ones that there's some species where an individual will produce both types of gametes at the same time. So worms are often, so C. elegans is a typical
C. elegans is a large-scale study organism.
Is a study organism, not marine, but something people study in labs all the time.
So if you produce a gamete that doesn't have an XY or an XX, like what does that mean? Like what is it?
So
it's just a DNA package? Or
yeah, so gametes are single cells that contain some of the genetic code from individuals, and it's contains the entire set of the genome essentially, for the purposes of reproduction, and so if a species has sex chromosomes, the gamete will have one sex chromosome in it. It will either be in humans, either be an X or a Y. But
it's not necessarily related to the XY. That's just a terminology.
That's right. Well, and in species that have have sex chromosomes, like humans with X and Y, or birds have a different type of sex chromosome inheritance structure. Typically, but not always, because there's variation in biology, but typically humans who have an X and a Y chromosome will produce small sperm gametes, and individuals who have an X, two X's will produce those larger egg gametes.
So
Oh, that's good. I mean,
the gender that we imagine is basically an ability to produce eggs or sperm. And would you class a sperm as an egg then, or is it
No,
something
they're
different?
they're not the same because they have different properties. So so sperm are mobile, or motile is usually actually what they're described as. So they move, they swim, right? And they generally don't have many nutrients in them. They're basically just packaged to move. Whereas eggs are packaged to stay, and they have a lot of nutrients that are going to help the embryo develop.
Okay, can I push you on that? Do you know anything about like the reasons that a sperm might move and an egg might not? Like, are there any theories around that?
Well, in general, you have to the two gametes
One
have
has to move.
Something has to
But
move.
like,
Yeah.
do
And
you have
so,
any theories behind why one is stationary and one moves?
Well, so it's not true across all of life that one is stationary and one moves. It's just in many animal, well, not just animals.
Are there any species where both move? Or that's
probably.
clearly not where neither move.
Probably.
Like, it's important that one move.
Yeah.
They have to get together, right?
That's right.
Are there any
But
examples
they're not
where
always
they both
they're not
move?
always so bit different in size as they are in the examples that we're most familiar with.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but
Good,
thanks, yeah.
most people are familiar with the human case, which is a case where the egg is much larger than the sperm, but that's not always the case, I suppose.
So
and in the case of
an egg probably couldn't swim.
We're going to your
Like,
No.
it's enormous.
No, but
Yeah.
for example, in the pipefish that I study, so pipefish are small marine fish. They're closely related to seahorses.
And the males can have babies.
The males provide all of the parental care, so the females actually deposit eggs into a male's brood pouch. So it's a specialized structure on the male's body.
Do they still enjoy that process? Do they still get off on the process of depositing their eggs into
we
the
have
male?
no way of measuring the fish's.
Do they pull a face like this?
No. But so in that case, the eggs move, but it's the female shifting the eggs essentially. And the sperm are much smaller than the eggs, but the sperm don't have to move very far. They just have to basically, yeah.
So in a way,
one place.
would you agree with it? This is a very loose statement, just for fun. But we're all drinking in the pub. Cheers. Cheers. In a way, the egg is the creator, and the male is just trying to deliver information to the creator. In a sense.
I wouldn't say that, because you need both. You wouldn't be able to have a full
But without
embryo
without the
both.
organism that gives birth, you've got nothing.
Well, no, not necessarily, because there's many organisms that don't have live birth at all.
They don't have live birth.
Yeah, like they don't.
Holy
It's
shit.
not that. So like many fish.
It's got interesting.
Many fish.
It just got really interesting.
I mean, yeah. When I say live birth, I mean that that babies come out of a parent. So there's many species where eggs are laid. They're fertilized outside of an individual's reproductive tract, and then those eggs hatch from without in some cases without any more care from either parent.
And they're completely capable.
And they're completely capable. And so
So do you think possibly